be begging people to come here. And of course, one of the other reasons that we're fearful of immigration is because people come here to get benefits like welfare that we shouldn't be giving out in the first place. So if we get our house in order, then we don't need to worry about immigration. We will have jobs for everyone. New immigrants will not be taking things from us. And best of all, we'll be more secure because we'll catch the terrorists instead of missing them.
Immigration has been an issue manufactured by the nativists and politicians. And really it's a scapegoating issue because we are failing as a country. And rather than look internally at our failures, whether it's in education, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in our defense policy and our foreign policy, oh no, we point to somebody over there, that's our failure. One of the great libertarian positions that I admire is open borders. My God, just open these borders. If there's jobs to fill, let the people come in. If we're able to cut out the income tax and have a fair tax, we'll have more prosperity and more need for employment than we can ever imagine. And we'll need people to come in. Isn't it interesting? We are building a fence on the southern border when in Europe, 6 countries have lowered all their barriers. You can go from one end of Europe to the other and not even have to show your driver's license. You can get a job in any place you want, and they have disparity in wage levels. So if they can do it, and believe me, in the European Union, they are moving ahead of us. The answer to immigration is, if you've got jobs, let people fill it regardless of where they come from. Open borders, that is a libertarian position, and that's a position I think Americans will ascribe to.
I'd like to look ahead to the very bright future that we'll sometimes reach. Someday, we libertarians will be the majority party in America and our policies will have come into play. Someday, our neighbors, the Partido Liberal, the Movimento Libertario, will have been just as successful, and all around the world, people will be as free and prosperous as we are. When that happens, the border issue will disappear. It's the canary in the gold mine. It's already disappeared in parts of Europe. If you cross the border between Belgium and the Netherlands, no one is very upset about it because the countries are equally free, the countries are equally prosperous, and people are free to move. And someday we will get to that location. However, right now, we have a huge entitlement system. Free schools, free roads. That's not such a bad idea necessarily. Free welfare, all sorts of wonderful benefits given to anyone. You cannot have a large entitlement system and open immigration at the same time. You'll go broke. But that doesn't mean we can't expand immigration. We should end racist bans that say one rule for Chinese, another rule for folks from Liechtenstein. We should welcome H-1B people and treat them as human beings. Bring in the best and the brightest from around the world. So they go back and we'll have a better world and we'll get to that future.
I have nothing against immigrants. I'm a second-generation American myself. My grandparents came from Russia and Poland and Germany. They were welcomed into this great country, and I like to welcome immigrants as well. But let me speak frankly with libertarians. I'm a Ron Paul libertarian on this issue. It is economic suicide to ask for open borders. Worse than that, it is the single silliest issue in the history of the Libertarian Party to talk about. You will turn off 90% of all Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hundreds of interviews, not local radio interviews, interviews with Glenn Beck, 4 million listeners, Michael Medved, 5 million listeners, Mankel in the morning, millions of listeners. And all anybody cares about when you mention immigration is seal the border. It's a terrorism issue, number one. Number two, as George Phillies said, open borders would be fine if we could eliminate welfare and entitlements tomorrow. But in the meantime, our hospitals are overflowing, our schools are overflowing, our welfare is overflowing. If you are a libertarian, and everyone in this room is, think for a minute. You can't be a libertarian and support millions of new people who want welfare, food stamps, entitlements, aid to dependent children, free education, free college, free hospitalization. We will have a bloated welfare state and destroy this country. But let's seal the border first, then have a compassionate but strict pathway to citizenship for the 12 million who are here, and allow them to become American citizens if they learn English, learn American history, have no criminal record, and have a payroll stub to prove they pay taxes. We'll welcome those here, but let's stop the flow of the new ones coming in. That's a winning issue. Thank you.
First, as Dr. Phillies mentioned, we need to encourage legal immigration. You know, my business, we spent $27,000 in the last 2 years trying to keep one person in the company who's a key employee. $27,000 in fees and legal fees in order to keep this kid, who's a good kid, a law-abiding kid in this country. One reason there is so much illegal immigration is so difficult to be a legal immigrant. But we need to stop the incentives for them to be here in the first place. Many of our country's problems can be solved by changing our incentive structure. You cannot have open borders in a welfare state. There's two things we can do immediately. One, we can end the birthright citizenship. And two, we can make English the official language of this country, saving billions of dollars in translation fees. Both of these solutions save the government billions of dollars. Both these solutions cost nothing to implement. And both these solutions would affect immigration to some degree. Then why doesn't it happen? If it's so easy to do, then why doesn't it happen? Because the Democrats and Republicans want to pander to the Latino vote because they want to get the Latino vote. They want to make it very easy to become American citizens because they want the vote. They're not doing what's in the best interest of the American people in this economy. They're doing what's in the best interest of themselves. And that's why the only choice, again, really, the only viable course of action in 2008, in November, is to vote for an independent or third-party candidate. We must vote Libertarian in 2008 in order to solve these problems.
Immigration. I believe that anyone from anywhere in the world that wants to come and pursue the American dream should be able to do so. I am for free association, free movement of all men. Why should the federal government tell you who you should hire? You know, the majority of immigrants, and most of the time when this is being discussed, is about our southern border. They're hard workers. They come here, they want to earn $1. Yeah, I am most certainly for an end to the welcome wagon that's waiting for them here. But that welcome wagon, those welfare benefits are here for Americans just as well. And I'm not a libertarian that says, yeah, we got to end the welfare state and stop the immigrants from utilizing it without stopping Americans as well. But I don't believe you have to say one without the other. Whatever we can achieve for liberty, I believe we should do. And I am fundamentally opposed to this, what has become a war in immigration, both from a moral perspective, the suffering, the dying that comes from people trying to pursue the American dream. I believe we should let them in. And as Mary pointed out earlier, there's no security risk. If we have failed in our investigations and our intelligence gathering at the border, then we've really failed because that happens before then. And pragmatically, the war on immigration is going to be used to strip you of more of your civil liberties, such as the national ID card. This is what it's going to be. The federal government fails at everything it does, but it will most certainly exploit the war on immigration against the American people.
Thank you. That's quite well. Thank you.